Hello and welcome to the Bridgewater-Raynham Connection. I'm Pat Riley and my co-host is our Superintendent of Schools for the Bridgewater-Raynham School District, Dr. Jacqueline Forbes. Welcome, Dr. Forbes.
Good afternoon, Pat. It's so nice to be here.
Yes, in the last few days of summer vacation, we're winding down, getting ready for the whole new school year.
Yes, we are winding up for that new school year, and we're really excited about all of the wonderful things we've accomplished over the summer, and we can't wait to have our students and staff join us next week.
I know, just walking in here at the Raynham Middle School, everything is polished and sparkling, and it looks like we're going to be ready for opening day.
Yes, we are. Our custodial and maintenance staff have outdone themselves again. The buildings are spotless. Everything's ready to go. Our furniture, our facilities, everything is waiting for our most important resource, our teachers and our students.
And you brought two guests with you today who can tell us about some exciting things happening in our school district, and I'll let you have the honor of introducing them.
Yes, thank you. To my immediate left is our IT manager, Mr. Ken DuBois, and to his left is our database manager, Meg Keohan. So these folks are joining me today to talk about the wonderful initiatives we've got going on in BR regarding technology and how it's going to support our teaching and learning.
The whole area of technology has been one that's of critical importance and that we've tried to improve, Dr. Forbes.
Yes, it's been a district goal to improve how we utilize technology and to make sure we have enough technology so that students and teachers have equitable access to it. And as you know, the school committee has worked very hard with us to make sure we have the resources, and we do. And I'm really excited about sharing that information with our viewing audience.
Ken, that's your cue. What have you been up to?
We've had a busy summer. Basically, one of our goals was to replace any of our older computer labs in our schools. So at this point, every computer lab in the entire school district is 5 years old or less now, computer-wise. We did have some computer labs that were a little older than that we needed to replace. So we were able to do that this summer with new LCD monitors, no more of the big CRT monitors, which actually will use less power. So that'll save the school district some money also.
Excellent, very good.
And in addition to the labs, Mr. DuBois, would you tell us about what we are planning to do in the district to accomplish the goal of becoming a 21st century district and have 21st century classrooms in every building?
Yeah, this is probably one of the more exciting things that we're actually getting to. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to start this in the summer, but in the next week or two, we are going to start installing projectors in every classroom from grades 4 and up to grade 12. Of course, our high school already has those with the new high school, and Williams Intermediate also has them, but all the other schools that did not have projectors installed in the classrooms will be getting those in the next month and a half.
Ken, I would assume these are new state-of-the-art projectors, not like, we used to use years ago.
Yes, these are actually, they're interactive projectors, which basically what that means is that instead of having, interactive boards that we currently have, basically the projector itself is interactive. So that actually the teachers will be able to use their current whiteboard and make it interactive through the actual projector itself. So they can actually use their whiteboard during normal class instruction, but be able to turn on the projector, show something from their computer, and basically be able to control what's on their whiteboard through either a pen device or even just with their regular markers, because it will actually detect what they're doing.
Why is that important, Dr. Forbes, having equipment like that?
Well, it's really important because it allows us to engage students in learning. The interactivity, flexibility is not just for the teacher, but it's also for the learner. So we expect to have first graders being able to use the interactive projectors to go up to the whiteboard and to manipulate objects on the screen to help with learning math, reading, science skills. So we're very excited about that. And another technology tool that we're looking into and we've purchased for the classrooms is something called a document camera. And I think that's going to really be helpful in terms of our writing curriculum. So I'm going to ask Ken to talk a little bit about what a document camera is.
Basically, the document camera is a replacement to the old-fashioned overheads that teachers used to use. What's nice about this, instead of having their clear piece of plastic paper that they needed to have in there, it's actually a digital camera on top. So basically, it's not, basically they can use any sort of piece of paper and any type of 3D item. So instead of just having something on paper, they could take a model of something and literally put it on their desk and show that up on the board and able to turn it and be able to view it. Also, what's nice about it is that because it is a camera, it can do video and it also can do still pictures. So as the teacher is actually giving the lesson, they can actually record their own lesson. So if they know they have maybe certain students that are not in the class at that point, they are able to record the lesson and then be able to play it back at any time.
Excellent, excellent. And all of these new devices, Dr. Forbes, help to engage the students more, get them more involved in the process.
And that enhances students' learning, it deepens the learning, and it also helps them be able to remember better. They'll be able to use the document cameras in terms of the writing process. They'll be able to put their own sample of writing on the camera, and then they'll be able to make adjustments, or the teacher, in terms of editing and revising. They'll also be able to use it for mathematics in terms of learning about geometry, fractions, a very difficult concept in the elementary school. They'll be able to actually manipulate and move things and get a better spatial perspective. So we're really excited about these new teaching and learning tools.
Excellent. Ken, tell us a little bit what your job entails.
Overall, well, as the IT manager for the school district, pretty much anything that has to do with technology, I'm in charge of. Whether that just be your normal computers, file servers where we store all our files. I'm also in charge of phone systems. A lot of the stuff just to run the building now is now on a computer, whether it be the heating systems or the security systems. So we're also in charge of those too, making sure that the custodians have access to those pieces of equipment so that they can make sure that, you know, the heat is properly set in each classroom, or security-wise, making sure that if they're handing out key fobs to teachers and stuff like that, being able to have access to all that.
Sounds like quite a large undertaking, quite a big job, Dr. Forbes.
Yes, it is. We, in addition to digital books, we have digital boiler systems, digital security systems, as Ken mentioned, and so he's in charge of making sure that all of our digital lines and phone lines are working. When something shuts down, Ken is the go-to guy who works with our director of facilities to make sure that our phone lines, our digital lines, everything's up and running. It's just like the new cars that you buy. They're far more complex than they used to be. They all have computers and computer chips in them. Well, so do our buildings and our new systems. So Ken is the person who's in charge of that.
If anything doesn't work, you're the one that gets the SOS.
Yes, immediately.
And he is on call 24/7.
Really? Excellent, very good. Now tell us about the cloud. What's this all about? We hear about this cloud.
The cloud, this is another exciting thing that we're moving towards. Basically, we're trying to centralize our complete computer system, which basically what that means is that one access point for everybody to get their files, their software, and anything else that basically that either a student needs or a teacher needs or administration needs, all in one central web-based place. What this is going to allow us to do is basically allow teachers, students, administration to be able to access their files from anywhere. Currently, right now, we really don't give students access to really save their files where they can get access from home. What we'll be able to do is eventually give them accounts where they'll be able to start assignments in the classroom and then be able to go home and log into that same interface and be able to get to those assignments. And the big bonus of it is not just their file, it's also the software involved. So if they don't own Microsoft Office at home, we'll actually be able to provide that through the web interface. So they'll click on their Word document just like in school, and it will bring up Microsoft Word for them, and they can actually do it. And then when they save the work, it gets saved on our system. So when they come back in the next morning and they log into the system, their work is there. So there's no losing it, there's no having a floppy disk that may die, or losing a memory stick, or even memory sticks die. So the the major goal is basically for administration is for collaboration. We'll be able to also be able to share certain resources. Having 7 different buildings, at least electronically right now, basically email is our only method to be able to share stuff. What this will allow us to do is basically just like you have in your computer, a file folder, you'll be able to drop a file folder in there, and then automatically every principal in the school district will have access to it instantly. Instead of emailing it, and then sometimes emails get lost, or if you get 100 emails that day, you may just not get to it for a few hours. When in this case, everything they can just, if they know there's something coming, they can just check that at any point.
Now, I know that was a huge project and it was going to be phased in. At what stage are we at this point?
Right now, the server environment is actually ready to go. The first phase right now is our student information system, Rediker. We're going to be moving that up there, which basically every administrator uses, and our secretaries to be able to see all the student information. Also, our nurses, their health software. Actually, I just got informed today that's ready to go also, so I'll be able to put that up there. So that will be the first phase into getting our administration on it. And then phase 2, which will be coming hopefully in the next month or 2, is to start getting each individual school on, start getting the faculty on it. That could take a while because that's just a different concept, and it's a lot of people to change over. We have a relatively small administrative staff, so that might be pretty quick. But having 400 teachers, that's going to take it's a change of how they're used to doing things. So we're going to probably need some professional development and some training so that we're not just throwing it at them. We want them to actually use it. So that'll be a slower, probably school by school basis.
Big project.
Yes. And we haven't talked about assistive technology, which is something that Ken is very familiar with in terms of enhancing the school setting for our students to be able to access quality education. Could you speak a little bit about the different types of assistive technologies we have, Ken?
I know, well, one we got last year was the clicker software, the clicker, basically what that allows you. Student response system. The company we went with is called Clickers, which basically will allow a teacher to be able to pose a question up on their board. And maybe you'll have a few special ed students in your classroom now, but instead of pointing out certain students now, they'll all be able to answer the question at the same time. And basically the only thing that the end user sees, the teacher and students, is basically percentages, or maybe even numbers, like 28 students answered this way, 3 students answered this way, and 1 student answered this way. So no longer pointing out, who got the answer wrong. You'll be able to go over a lesson, ask the questions, and then if the responses are not in favor, maybe, the percentages are not good, teacher now has a chance to go back over the lesson saying, okay, half the class didn't understand this, let me go back over it. So it's just instant response for the teacher instead of teaching for a week and giving a test. And now you're getting results from 5 to 10 days. This is instant while you're actually teaching the subject.
And it's so important because part of really good teaching is to monitor student progress throughout the course of the lesson. And this will allow us to be able to do that. We don't have it in every classroom yet. We are putting it into place, and as we get more teachers trained, we hope to have that in our classrooms to support teaching and learning.
You mentioned training, Dr. Forbes, and Ken mentioned it as well. That's so important when you're bringing on something new, that you have the professional development, you have the training so that people know how to use it.
And our faculty is responding beautifully. Our teachers can't wait to learn how to use improved technology tools to help students. So we, with our new curriculum director, are planning a series of professional development opportunities throughout the course of the year.
Very good. Meg, tell us about your job.
As a database manager, I'm responsible for the student records and the information on where they are and what they're doing, what they're up to. And then also, when it comes to the technology, is making that bridge from the technical part of technology to its use in education. So supporting the teachers and providing them with assistance on how to use it in the classroom, and offering sessions to show them and to have them practice those initiatives, like with the clicker that you all were mentioning. When you're having a lesson in any subject, if you're doing history or science, and you've done a whole little bit of lecture that's included some stand-up talking and some moving around the room, some individual activities on that subject. It's a nice way to get a temperature check on where the kids are. Have they got to this point? Can we move on to the next topic that I have planned today? So the good thing about those clickers and things like that is that you can have them and I can use them in my class, and then next period just pass it off. There's not a lot of cables and wires to go with it. So it really can move around a building easy, and so sometimes you don't need to have one in every classroom. You know, you only have a couple in a department or so forth in the building. But in addition to those kind of things, like we have Edline, which is an initiative this year. It's a connection to the school, from school to home. And it will be a way of our teachers posting information of what's happening in the classroom, that day's lessons, or assignments, even short-term and long-term assignments, in a way for the parents to touch base and see what's happening with their child in the classroom and what they could assist, and what they maybe would also have some helpful tips for parents when they're assisting their children with their homework. It would help out parents with tips and tools on how to do that effectively. Also, we have, in addition to that, they'll have their, it has electronic grade books where the teachers put in their grades and post them. And at the different age levels where it's appropriate, they'll be posting, and some parents of high school students would already know this, that they have posted grades on a kind of a regular basis, and especially at the end of the term are on Edline. So that's another helpful thing that I've been working with the teachers to roll out, and will be in full swing. So watch in your lunchbox meal for the activity, the instructions on how to activate your Edline account if you haven't.
What if a parent doesn't have a computer system? What happens in a case like that?
We certainly have access through our multiple labs in the schools. Each library has a computer lab. We also have, for instance, here at the Raynham Middle School, we've just put into place, I believe, 3 more labs, Ken?
Correct.
Really?
3 more computer labs. And we're hoping to be able to have an open house and bring folks in to take a look at that. We have a library media center on the 2nd floor with 2 labs. We've put one on the 1st floor, and I think a 3rd one on the 2nd floor.
There's actually 2 up there on the 2nd floor.
2 up there. So we're really pleased about that, and that's what our folks have been up to all summer. They are putting in the furniture. Once the custodians clean the rooms, we put the furniture in, we put the new computers in, all of the wiring, the appropriate monitors, and whatever the other pieces to the system are that need to be put into place. And so I believe we're almost finished with Raynham Middle School. At the elementary schools, we have we've upgraded the computers and the monitors, as Ken said earlier. So we're finding that we have better access to more computers, so we're excited about the teachers being able to make better use of that. We also are looking into iPads and how they are being appropriately used, and laptops. So Ken and Meg work together with the principals and the faculty to figure out what is the appropriate technology tool for each building. We're exploring Wi-Fi, and a lot of good things are going on.
It's certainly a fascinating area, that's for sure, Meg.
That's the part, like we've just accomplished so much last year, getting, spreading the use of interactive whiteboards into classroom instruction, the use of just projectors, the document cameras, and the assistive technology in some of our special ed classrooms with the use of the iPad for communication. But our hope is, and our total commitment when we rolled out the new technology plan in June, was that we have a plan outlined there that says how we're going to keep this momentum going and this energy so that we're always moving forward and we don't need to play catch up because we're always looking for what would work next, what's the next best thing to put in our classroom to make that classroom time and the students' learning time the best.
And that's a real challenge because it's a field that's always in flux.
Right. So it's something you're going to need to always be, always be on top of. So with the new technology plan and the committee that was set up to do that, that's one of the vision of the committee and the goal of the committee is to keep that momentum going.
How are people responding to it from your perspective, Meg?
I think they're energized about it. So that puts a lot of responsibility of us to, actually, what's the word I'm looking for? Put our money, put our,
Put your
money where your mouth is. Put something where something is to really show that we're behind them, we're there to support them and whatever and what they need and to, with this, because being a classroom teacher at one time and having these items come into my class, Pat was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to fit this in and where am I going to put the time in?
Sure.
But the use of technology is really to be like the next thing, like when you pick up your pen to do something, or do you pick up your mouse to do something else? To be able to know what the right tool is to use to get the job done the best way it can be done.
And so obviously our students respond so well to anything that's technology connected.
Yes, they do. So far, so far they do, and I think they'll be excited
even
when they
the
go
little
into the
guys,
class.
even those youngest students.
Yes, even the kindergartners who come through and now go through the lunch line using the point of sale system.
It's amazing.
They know their numbers, and they're able to just plug them in so quickly. I remember standing there in the lunchroom with you, Pat, watching the children. We were so concerned to make sure that they could use the new technology. And I know I was pleasantly surprised at how adept they are at using the new tools that we have.
I know they've always said that even like learning a foreign language, if kids learn it at a younger age they can learn it so much more quickly. I think it's the same thing with technology. They seem to, those little minds of theirs just grasp it.
I'd have to agree.
Excellent, very good. Tell us a little bit more about that technology plan. This was put together by a committee.
Yes, a rather large committee made up of administrators and folks who have a great deal of knowledge about technology. And we're hoping to expand that. I know that we did share it with a parent group to take a look at that, because one of the concerns in our district is that our technology is not where it needed to be in terms of comparison districts. And I'm pleased to say that it is now. With the support of the school committee, with the funding that we've been given, we've been able to really put into place a 21st century school classroom in grades 4 through 12. We're looking forward to working on kindergarten through grade 3 this year. And we're hoping that we'll have our classrooms as competitive as any in the Commonwealth. So that is a major goal of ours. And you know that it does cost a lot of money to upgrade technology, but we're fortunate because we had a team work on putting together a capital improvement plan specifically for technology. And Mr. DuBois and Ms. Keohan were a part of that. And so I feel very comfortable going forward that we'll be able to budget for the necessary equipment that we need.
What about our website? Who is responsible, or whose job is that?
Well, our website comes under Mr. DuBois.
Oh, goodness.
And we also have a stipend position during the school year for a webmaster. We did upgrade the website last year, but there's always ongoing concerns about, is it timely? Is it kept up to date?
It's a huge project.
And it is a huge project, and we strive to make it better. Sometimes there are some lag times where we don't have the most recent minutes up to date, but all of us are trying to work harder so that it is easier, more user-friendly. And I can certainly ask Mr. DuBois, when he's finished getting all of the hardware in the district and the buildings wired, to make sure he puts that on the front burner, because it is so important. Parents and our constituents should be able to get to the website and find the information easily, navigate it, find out my phone number so they can contact the superintendent's office or school committee or the individual schools. So we are cognizant that it does need some improvement, and we will work to do the best we can, won't we, Mr. DuBois?
Sounds like it sounds like you're going to be a really busy year, Ken.
Every year is a very busy year. As we purchase more things and we put more things, it does put a little bit more pressure on my department, but we have a couple of great technicians that they work very hard day to day, and we actually are hiring a new systems coordinator, which will be starting in the next couple of weeks, which will relieve a little bit of basically what I do. Our technicians are more like break it, fix it people, and we're actually going to be hiring somebody else that will actually be able to move forward with some of these major projects and basically be able to concentrate on those type of things.
The department's growing exponentially because the need is there. And I'm very pleased that the committee gave us the new position of a systems coordinator, who will be kind of an assistant to Ken, so that we'll be able to get more of these initiatives off the ground in a more timely manner.
Very good. Maggie, you're looking forward to the new school year?
I am. I don't know where the summer went. You have all big plans of things when everybody thinks the schools are so quiet in the summer, but it's all a rev up to getting prepared so we're ready to go on the first day of school. So so there's a lot of anticipation. So yeah, I'm ready to go on next Tuesday.
And Meg will be meeting with the teachers to do trainings on Grade Quick.
Grade Quick, K through 4, some continuous support on Edline, how they can use that effectively when communicating with parents and students. Also,
the revised standards-based report card, I believe.
Right. We have some additions, which that was the big thing last year, which would be adding new things that have changed to that will be put on. Also, again, stage fright.
We need to look at aligning the curriculum.
Oh, that's a big thing. Now that we have this, thanks, Bonnie. Now that we have the equipment in place, where's the best way to fit it in, and what are the technology skills that the students need to use to get the most out of that equipment, and to discover as they're learning, to jump into a topic and really get down to it, and how can technology help that happen. Like with the document cameras, you can actually slip in science, because you can zoom right in something from nature that they can examine when that comes up in their curriculum. So matching those technology skills with what's happening in the classroom and what they need to get it done. So if it's with word processing, so they can in a timely fashion get those reports and those essays written up, then that's something, those skills are something we'll concentrate on. And to impress upon them the use of technology as an educational tool, because so much of technology now, you can go off on a different path and get into the entertainment part of it and that excitement, and to show that it can really make their day-to-day learning a lot easier when they use the right tool.
Excellent. Very good. Ken, you're looking forward to the new school year?
I absolutely am. It's exciting, not just to install the stuff. Us tech guys, we enjoy that type of stuff, but it's also seeing the end user actually get to use the technology.
Excellent. Dr. Forbes, we are, believe it or not, just about out of time, ticking down the seconds here, but it sounds like it's going to be an exciting year.
Absolutely, and it can only improve, and we're hoping that all of these innovative ideas that we're putting into place are going to improve student learning and student achievement. So it's an exciting beginning to a wonderful new year.
Excellent, very good. Thank you very much for being with us. Dr. Jacqueline Forbes, along with our guest today, Ken DuBois and Meg Keohan, thank you very much for joining us. We want to thank all of you for being with us as well. We'll see you here on our next episode of the Bridgewater Raynham Connection. in the clouds.
That was good.